We are live in the Kuntry Club. How's everybody doing tonight? I can't really tell how many folks are here because it doesn't really say. I see Robbie Mack, John Mack, and Mike Wiley here. We're here with Ken Cobb. He sent me, and I guess it's been about a month ago. Is that about right, Ken?
Yes.
About a month ago, he sent me a PEI powder-coated spring steel sheet that fits my Prusa. Now, it's single-sided. I can put PEI on the other side. And tonight, we're going to talk to him about this, the process, where it's going, who he is, and where he thinks this product's going to go. So, without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Ken and let him say what he wants to say, and then we will get into the interview. Here we go, Ken. It's all on you, my friend. Hold on. It ain't letting me click. There we go. Now we're cooking with grease.
Thanks, Walter. So my name is Ken Cobb, and I'm a full-time college student. And I started developing this PEI coated spring steel sheet in February of this year. And the whole idea with it was to offer a sheet for all printers, not just the Mark III, because it's not my goal to take away from Prusa's market share. So the whole idea with this is we can offer something that will fit virtually any printer that you have, and we should be able to do custom one-off sizes if necessary for large industrial printers.
About it? You got any more?
I'm going to college. I'm a software engineering student. Got 1 year left. That's about it for now.
Well, I'm tweeting it out right now so we can get a couple more eyes on it here. Anybody in here wants to go retweet it, y'all go do that. All right, so first question. What made you get into 3D printing to begin with? Okay, because I see an Ender 3 and you told me you have a Delta on the floor. Which one was your first printer and what made you decide to get one?
So my first printer was actually a CR10. I got started in April of last year, actually. So I'm fairly new, but I've fortunately had a lot of time to completely study the 3D printing industry. At least that goes for FDM printing. So the CR10 was, I've always been wanting a 3D printer, but they weren't really affordable. And the build volumes were way too small. And I didn't want to have to make several prints and glue stuff together and, have it break, because I'm also an inventor. So the parts that I make have to be functional. And typically the best prints are ones that are a solid mass that aren't glued together. So the CR10 was a great entrance printer for the money. But it kind of snowballed from there, and it's almost the same story with everyone. You start to upgrade this, upgrade that. Before you know it, you spent $1,000 in upgrades, and the printer that you bought is not stock.
Well, we all know about the upgrades and how much money you can put into upgrades. I have a TiVo little monster sitting over in the corner that's fixing to get a few. Well, I will tell you this, and I went in there and told my wife when I went to get my root beer wallet, you're a lot younger than I thought you were. I thought you were one of the older gentlemen that had been, doing powder coating or something for some company, and then here you go. You're breaking this new product out. So I was surprised, actually, when you came up on my screen. Was not expecting a young fella like yourself. I think that is awesome.
Thank you.
That you're moving into that space and going headlong into something that you've only been doing since last April, which, you started basically 3D printing like the rest of us because it came to a price point that you could afford to risk on 3D printing is what we did. You know, most of us did. So you got a CR10, but now what gave you the idea of the spring steel sheet? Was it when they came out with the Prusa and you're like, I think I can do that at a cost that's cheaper and provide that to people faster than what they're doing?
That's one of the reasons. Another reason was I was always a firm believer in a solid sheet of PEI stuck to a bed permanently. But then I realized I don't really print with PLA just because of the low temperature that the filament extrudes at. Like the parts that I print for my inventions, I like to at least use PETG because it has a higher temperature rating. So with the PETG, it sticks like nobody's business to PEI, a solid sheet of it.
Yeah, it does.
And I've ruined several 40 mil sheets of PEI. Well, most of it was maybe from impatience, using the paint scraper, and just like chunks of it would lift off because the bed was so hot.
Right.
So with the spring steel, you don't have to wait, and you just pop it off. I mean, the metal's still hot, but the finger tabs are relatively cool because it's offside of the heated bed area. And if you have several sheets, you can do back-to-back printing. Yeah.
Well, now you said you're a college student. So, I mean, I assume you live close to the college or whatever. But powder coating takes equipment. Okay. I guess you can do it in your oven in your house. I'm not sure, but I wouldn't want to. So you had to look up, study, and invest in this equipment, or were you doing this before? Was this powder coating something you had done before, and PEI was just a new material to powder coat with, or were you learning a new process from the beginning on this?
It was just like learning 3D printing. So I have no experience with powder coating beforehand. So I did have to buy stuff and learn. There's different ways of actually depositing PEI onto a surface. It doesn't have to be with static electricity like a traditional powder coating is.
Okay.
Yeah.
You keep enlightening. I mean, you don't have to give away like secrets or anything, but keep enlightening me because this is interesting to me as well.
So the oven is, I mean, yes, you can use any oven. You have to crank it up, but typically it's not a big deal because I'm doing very few sheets. Now, of course, in production, I'm not going to be doing that in the house oven.
Right. So, all right. So you don't have a laser cutter, so you're getting these cut from somewhere else.
Yes.
So you have to depend on them cutting your stuff to specifications like you want, and then you bring them home and you powder coat them yourself at home.
There's actually third party entire one-stop shops that do laser cutting and powder coating for automotive stuff. And it's more feasible to go to someone like that. And these people are in the USA. So the whole idea is we're not going to outsource anything.
Right. All right. So I've got the sheet for the Mark III. Okay. Which is pretty simple to find because it's open source. You can go find it as well. I see behind you have an Ender 3.
Yes. And
would you like to describe your system on the Ender 3?
Sure.
Okay.
So we'll just start at the top. This is a custom spool holder that I designed. It allows me to use, it's the larger, I can't remember the size. It's like 5 5 kilogram spool on
5
this.
kilogram spools, yeah.
Yeah. So I get all my filament through 3D X Tech. They're based in Michigan, and the quality is really good. So the 5 kilogram spool I use is like a carbon fiber reinforced PETG, and that's what these parts here are printed out of. Now these are just PVC pipes. There's no point in printing pipes.
Correct.
It's just a waste of money and time.
Right.
Now this lifts up. That way you can take the spool off. And on this side, I don't know if you can see it, but that is a 5/16 18 threaded rod with a it's like a thumb knob, but
right.
You get it from McMaster Car, and it's called a quick acting thumb knob. It allows you to unscrew it just a little bit, and it tilts, and you just pull it right off the threaded rod. You don't have to spin the whole thing off.
That's pretty awesome.
And there's 608 bearings that basically adapt the spool to the threaded rod.
Cool.
If we move down, this is the print head. It's got a Noctua 40, I think it's a 40 or a 30 millimeter fan. It's got an E3D V6 with a titanium heat break, copper heat block, silicone sock, hardened nozzle. It's got a Slice Engineering 50-watt heater. It's the 24-volt. And it's got the Slice Engineering 500C thermistor.
Right.
With their boron nitride paste.
Yeah.
Their stuff is amazing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no doubt.
And like the leads they give you, the Slice leads are really nice. They have the quick connect fittings. Like for the heater cartridge, it's kind of like the E3D premium heater cartridges. They have the quick disconnect. The extruder is probably the craziest thing about this printer. So it's a Zesty Sidewinder. They're based in Australia.
Yeah.
And I mean, it works really great. It gets the mass of a direct drive motor off of the print head and moves it to the back. And it uses a flexible shaft like a Dremel tool.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that because that's exactly what that looks like. I'd never seen one of those extruders. So it's got a gear set that sits on top, I take it, that grabs your filament, kind of like the Bondtech gear set.
Yeah, it's a 30 or 40 to 1 reduction.
Right.
So the torque here is crazy. I mean, it may not be the same as a Bondtech, but a Bondtech is basically overkill all the time anyways.
Yeah.
And the Zesty guys are amazing. Their support is like one of the best.
All right. Well, all right, so now you get to the heart of the matter that everybody came to see, and that's that build plate that you got on there.
Before that, there's one more thing.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
It is a 32-bit board, and it runs on SmoothieWare. That's the last thing that I upgraded.
Okay, so you put an MKS base in it and put SmoothieWare on it?
No, it's a Panacat AST X5 Mini.
I got you.
And it's the older model that has the Ethernet port.
Okay, so really the only thing you've got left of the Ender 3 is the frame.
Yes, just like my CR10 that I used to have.
Yeah, I got you. All right, so now, now we get to your sheet.
So I'll just take it off. This is the sheet. It's PEI coated powder. So the powder is about 50 microns in diameter. So I wouldn't say it's the safest thing to work with when you're powder coating something. But I mean, I'm just an average guy doing this at his house. Anyone can do this if they want to. But I would say that wearing a respirator is really important.
Okay.
The backside is nothing. And
Yeah.
this is the heat. This marking is just from the heat of the oven.
Okay. So let me ask you this. Now, there are several PEI powder coated spring steel sheets on the market. Okay. I think the most prevalent other than Prusa is Build Tack. And I don't know if you've seen their system or not. I haven't seen their system, so I don't even know how it works. And I'll get to questions in just a minute, Tom. So the magnet that you have on that holds it down, you said that's a high temp self-adhesive magnetic sheet.
Yes.
Okay. So what temperatures are you running that magnet at on a normal basis?
So I run PETG prints at 70 C. You can, with this magnet, you can go up to 120. So it's fine for ABS.
Okay.
But I'm still looking for higher temp magnets for doing, for printing Ultim, as PEEK.
Yeah.
But most people aren't doing that in the community on a regular basis.
Right.
I mean, those are some crazy filaments, not only in price, but they're just like exotic.
Okay, so the magnetic sheet that you have stuck there, okay, because I've got, like I said, I've got the TiVo Little Monster. I've got three Prusa beds that are 250 by 210. Then I have a 300 by 300 Hypercube. So those sheets are customizable, I take it. And is it a flexible sheet? I mean, before you stick it on, is it flexible?
The magnet?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's if you've ever seen a rubber back magnet,
yeah,
the same thing basically.
Okay.
It's just
so you can cut it and you can shape it to whatever size you need it.
Yes, but with the Kickstarter, they should be cut the same size as the sheet that you order.
Right. And we're getting questions in here. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back here real quick. Okay. First thing is, how many hours have you put on one of your sheets?
So this one right here, it's got about 42 hours on it.
Okay.
I haven't been doing a lot of prototyping lately because of school.
Well, I have been doing prints on this one. This one has done 33 prints, if I'm not mistaken, 33 prints, and the shortest print was an hour and a half long. So, you know, I'm pushing 50 hours on mine as well. So not too bad. Now, the flexibility of the PEI, that was a question that I had. And I'm telling you, I don't want to bend it far enough to pop the PEI off, but I mean, you can bend it pretty dadgum far. You know, I mean, it's really flexible, really flexible. For as durable as this is, and you can hear it. I mean, this is the other side. Okay, this is the smooth side. That's the powder coated side. So you can tell it's there. It's not something that's just, you know, just stuck on there a little bit. It's 50 microns thick, and dude, it gives. I can't find the daggum print I wanted to show off with the smooth side. The cat's knocked my prints all over the place, and I can't find the one I wanted to show off. But the texture of it is finer than the Prusa sheet, which is cool to me. All right, next question. How strong are the magnets? Because for large prints, like if you're printing on the whole surface, you know, the pull of that shrinkage can be a lot and can, you know, lift your sheet up.
Yeah, so the strength of the magnet sheet is actually, I don't like to compare the Prusa to this because they use samarium cobalt magnets in certain strategic places on the bed. But since this adheres to the entire surface area of the bottom of this, it's actually stronger. You can actually move the entire printer.
Okay. So when you went to get these cut, and I take it that you went to this company and said, this is what I'm trying to do. Can we do that? I'm assuming. What were their thoughts on what you were trying to do?
So these first batches I had made, I just went to a standalone laser cutter, not a powder coater. And I've had mixed results with them, so I won't be using them for production. Because with a laser, it's not just the laser that cuts the metal, it's the assist gas that pushes away the molten metal. Just like a plasma cutter, basically, it uses light. So the problem with that is you get slag on the back side, and that's very hard to remove because it's spring steel. It's very difficult to cut the stuff. So the slag is very difficult to remove. I think better quality laser cutters don't have issues with slag, but worst case scenario, I'll be using a water jet.
Okay, cool. Well, there was another question. How does the coated surface react to adhesion solutions such as glue, magic goo, and also how does it take to cleaning solutions like IPA, which is isopropyl alcohol? And I have used all three. I've used glue stick, I've used magic goo, and I've used alcohol to clean the sheet. So I can answer that. Good, and just like any other PEI or PEI powder coated sheet, the isopropyl alcohol is an absolute must. I used it about every 3 prints just to, clean off any residue from my fingers or whatever. And it was fantastic. All right. Now you said you had a couple of other sheets there. Are they in different stages of preparation or?
So this one is just raw. This is the spring steel.
Okay.
You probably can't even see the slag on this one, but it's just not up to my standards to have slag on something.
Okay.
Because with the slag, it would actually raise the surface above the magnet.
Right.
So the sheet that I sent you, you probably can tell on the back side that I used a kind of like a Scotch-Brite pad on a die grinder.
Right. They can't see me. Hold on just a second. I'm gonna knock it off of you for a second and put me on here. Guys, y'all can see that, right? You can see the swirls on here where he cleaned it up. It's nice and pretty. Now this is still my sheet. This one's been used for about, I'd say a good 50 hours has been put on this sheet. So that's what you're seeing now is a sheet with about 50 hours on it. And Fernando, you were asking about the flexibility of the PEI. There you go. I mean, it's pretty good. All right, so let's go back to Ken here.
Now, I try not to, typically people say acetone and PEI, they're fine. But what I found with a solid sheet of PEI on the CR10 I had was if you use a lot of acetone over a period of time, it does stress fracture the PEI. You'll get micro stress fractures in it.
Well, so, that's pretty much any PEI, though. I mean, if you use acetone a lot on even on solid sheets of PEI, right?
Yeah, it's just a lot of people think acetone and PEI are fine together. I mean, maybe it depends on the grade you use or something, but I don't recommend acetone really on a printer. Okay. Unless I know people make ABS slurry and you have to use acetone.
Okay. Well, I don't know if you know who Filament Frenzy is, But if you get on Twitter, you need to follow Filament Frenzy because the prints he puts out are second to none. Everything is primo from this man. He asks, how's the surface where it concerns TPU release and adhesion? I will say this. On my other powder-coated sheets and PEI, of course, TPU sticks too well. Now, I did not have any problems on my original Prusa powder-coated sheet getting TPU off of it. I have not tried any on your sheet, Ken, and I don't know if you print in TPU very much at all.
Oh.
Okay. So I would, just as a precaution, if you get one of these sheets, I would advise that you use some type of release agent like Magic Goo or something of that nature. Now, his next question is, can you powder coat both sides?
Yeah. So the whole idea with a single-sided coating is, one, it saves on cost, which we will pass on to the actual consumer. Two, it gives the user the ability to put a thin piece of Garolite on the backside for printing nylon-based filaments, or a solid sheet of PEI if that's what you want.
Okay. Now, have you tried double-sided powder coating any of them yet?
Yes.
Okay.
Another reason why I don't really like double-sided, I mean, you've already kind of proved me wrong on it, but the magnet strength.
Yeah.
That was the first concern I had, but I'm pretty sure that's not the issue.
Well, now, with the magnet that you have, you're covering the entire surface area, like you said, of the spring steel sheet. So, I mean, if there's any strength to that magnet at all, it should be able to hold through a thin sheet of PEI or even another powder coated side. I know the one. I only have the Prusa, so it's hard for me to say about other things. But I know the magnets on the Prusa sheets and the Prusa because there's some knockoffs now that you can get the Mark 52 bed. They are very, very strong magnets. I have seen on a couple of on the knockoffs that you have to add one in one specific spot to hold down the center. But I could see where, a thick piece of build tack or something of that nature on the sheet that you're providing could do that. Could make adhesion a little more difficult.
Right. Wasn't someone asking about the thickness? Or was that a month ago?
I think that was a month ago.
Well, these sheets are a lot thinner.
Sorry.
They're 16 mil thick, which is 16 thousandths. There's a few reasons for that. That's why you noticed yours was a little bit concave.
Yeah.
And that's not only from the heating process, but so the thinner spring steel is it's cheaper for one, and two, it has a tighter thickness tolerance. So
right.
The sheet that you have and I have is one plus or minus 1 mil thickness deviation. So
okay.
it just comes down to less cumulative air stack up.
Right. Okay, so the thinness of the sheet didn't cause me any issues at all. The only thing on the MK3, like I told you beforehand, is that when you take this sheet off and put on one of their sheets, or even going from their smooth PEI to their powder coated sheet, it takes a Z offset change. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I'm going from yours to theirs. Basically, you set it, you write down what your Z offset is. When you change it, you change your Z offset and you go on about your business. Hold on one second. Pooch, what we're talking about is a PEI powder coated spring steel sheet that Mr. Ken Cobb has made himself right here. He's got one for the Ender 3. I'm holding the one for the Mark 3. Now we've got 2. Filament Frenzy's 1, and then Chris Riley is 2nd, he said. Filament Frenzy said he'd love to put one of those through a few 1,000-hour test, as I see that as the only negative so far is how much it can take, but he likes it. So what we're going to do is, at the end of this, we got an announcement. So we're going to announce this. But what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do this for Ken Cobb because he sent me this to beta test. Okay, I have done about as much as I can do to it. I'm going to ship this across the pond to Filament Frenzy. And I'm going to let him have a go at it. And when he's done with it, he's going to ship it to Chris Riley. And Chris Riley's going to have a go of it after Filament Frenzy. So I'm hoping Tom doesn't destroy it because Chris won't get it then. But I will tell you this. It will give you some real world tests for sure, because Tom prints every day. Every day the man puts out just gorgeous stuff. So, and Chris is going to print a benchy. I promise. Chris will put a benchy on it. So, all right. So what are your plans moving forward? Are you looking to get, and I'm trying to think this out right. So you've got an Ender 3 that's already cut now. You've got the plans for the Mark III sheet that you can cut now. So are you going to be able to do one-offs or customs or things of that nature? And we know customs and one-offs cost more. Well, I'm not getting to cost yet. Is that something you're looking to do? Is become a specialty market? Or are you wanting to mass produce for the Ender 3, for the CR10, for the Mark III and stuff of that nature?
So the way with the Kickstarter that I've been setting it up, because I'm still setting it up. So with the rewards, currently I'm thinking about, we will go up to 500 by 500 millimeters, which is pretty big.
Not as big as I'm going to talk to you about in a minute.
Well,
but go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to need a big nozzle.
Yeah.
So with the Kickstarter, you get one magnet sheet that has adhesive on the back of it, and you get the spring steel.
Okay.
Pre-cut. Just put it on. It works with auto bed leveling. And as far as one-offs, that would have to come after the Kickstarter is successful.
Okay.
The only thing we're limited by would be the size of the coil of steel, as far as the width.
Right. All right. So, Paul Cumber, yes. I mean, theoretically, you can make one for any printer. All right. So let's see. Let me catch. Not yet, Mr. Buttram. We're not there yet. We'll be getting there in a second. Paul Cumber asked, could you make one for a Monoprice Mini MP Mini Select? And you can. Filament Frenzy asked another question. If you apply another build surface to the non-powder coated PEI side, say build tack, how would the powder coated side hold up to touching the heated surface directly? I mean, what are your thoughts? I mean, if you stick it down to the magnet and put blue tape on the other side to print on, how's your surface going to handle that, do you think?
Well, the glass transition temperature of PEI is 217 degrees Celsius, so it should be fine.
Okay.
Unless you're printing like something ridiculous.
Well, now, Fernando Pena comes with a statement here that I didn't even know. Since some of the big manufacturers have started offering removable build plate solutions like BuildTack and Creality has one for $13. Has this changed your plans in any way? Have you been looking at their stuff? Now, I don't know what Creality's or BuildTak's removable solutions are. I think they're spring steel, but they're only the PEI or BuildTak sheet. I don't think any of them are offering powder coated stuff.
BuildTak, they don't even say what they use. It's proprietary.
Yeah, it's proprietary, right?
That's kind of like concerning, because some people have really mixed results with BuildTak. I'm pretty sure it's an aluminum oxide type of surface treatment. I'm not quite sure what they use.
Okay.
But yeah, someone actually told me that. So what's stopping me from just like cutting it down or something? As far as like if you bought a spring steel one, you can cut spring steel with tin snips, but it leaves a nasty edge that raises a burr.
So you talked about doing a Kickstarter, and we talked a little bit beforehand, and you've got everything approved except for you have to shoot a video, and you're planning on doing that after this. So do you have a link for your Kickstarter yet?
I have a preview link, and it's only for feedback.
I got you.
So
okay.
I can maybe send that to you.
Okay. Well, what I want you to do is once you get your Kickstarter link, send that to me. Your actual Kickstarter. Once you're ready to go Kickstarter, I want you to send that to me. And you can send me the preview link for feedback. That's fine. I have no problem with that whatsoever. You should be able to type that into the chat right there where you're at, I believe. In the YouTube chat. I think you can.
The Hangouts?
Yeah, no, where you can type it in Hangout chat, and then I'll paste it in the other then. How about that?
I wasn't planning on more than one person to do feedback yet.
Oh.
Yeah.
Come on now. You know, the thing is, I will tell you this, Ken, and I know that you're a full-time student and you don't hang out in the community maybe as much as I do. These guys are great. The guys that are here and that are here watching this and listening to you right now aren't going to be the ones that are going to be, you know, trolls on your feedback. While you're doing that, the next thing is Filament Frenzy ask is, what printers is your Kickstarter going to be focused on?
So the Kickstarter is set up to be where you select the size that you want. That's where we'll be building a system that generates a DXF file to go to the laser cutter.
Okay. So you're not going to be targeting any specific printer.
No.
Just a certain size of build surface.
Yeah. So you will select circular or rectangular. I don't know of anyone that has a triangle-shaped bed, but...
Oh, that's an idea. A triangle delta. All right, so now the man that's here that has the printer that I wanted to talk to you about, because he actually talked to me about you doing a custom one for him, but his printer is quite large, and that's Glenn from Fun King 3D. And I know you don't hang out on YouTube a lot and stuff like that, but he's building a printer called the FK1. Right? Glenn, if you will, type the size of that printer into the printer bed into the YouTube chat, please, so that Ken can see the size of the print bed that you're going to have. He's typing. How do you see the built to order size method affecting the speed of growth manufacturing wise?
I'm reading it myself.
I hear you. I know it's hard sometimes to. Besides that, he's British, so he just talks crap anyway. So,
so the coil steel will be shipped to the laser/water cutter, and they'll just have it. So they'll get the DXFs in real time, and basically it just comes down to how good of a job they can nest jobs. So if we need to wait for, I mean, to an extent, if I have to wait for 10 orders to generate a decent nesting cut, that'll be the most efficient to save on less waste material. So we'll be able to get as many sheets as possible out of the width of the coil.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. Now, Glenn put his bed on there. That was the bed I was talking about. If you look at Fun King 3D with the nice little happy smiley face with the crown on it, the last comment he put up there is 1,200 by 400. Now, are you equipped to powder coat something that size?
So that's 4 feet, right? So
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not a metric to standard guy. If you say it's 4 feet, it's 4 feet.
it's just, yeah, a tad over 47 inches. So the coils come in different widths, and it should be possible. There's a lot of steel goods that come in over 4 feet.
Right.
Even if it's 4 feet, that still works. It means
Okay.
we don't have to cut the width at all.
Okay, cool. So you don't have to cut it across one side or cut the length, right?
Right. Just
Okay.
cut the length and do some rounded edges so it's not going to cut you.
Right. So Filament Frenzy says, say your Kickstarter yields 300 custom orders. Do you think you could keep up with this as not standard size? So you can't. Well, and that's what he's talking about. Filament Frenzy was, gathering orders up so that the different sizes and shapes can be cut out of the spring steel with as little waste as possible. So 300 orders at one time, you just have to order a bigger roll and then feed your DXFs into the computer system and say, now cut it out. Right. Is that,
Right. And after the Kickstarter, we'll be on our own, basically. We'll have our own website with our own system. Actually, even during the Kickstarter, probably we'll be setting it up, because after the Kickstarter, if it's successful, for one, and gets funded, then we will be setting up that system where everyone who's funded the campaign, they'll go to our website and put in the dimensions and shape they want.
Okay.
And I was planning on the price to be target, so I really want it to be less than $50 for the entire system.
Right. So that brings me to Bruce's question, and they can't see me, but you can. So for a system, and I'm not going to use the MK3 because it's already got magnets. So for a system that would use that size build sheet, just say a 200 by 200, and the magnet, what are you thinking on a cost of something of that nature for a kit? And I know you're not there yet because you got to get manufacturing prices. You've only cut a couple of these, so what are you thinking? I know you said below or around $50 or below for the entire system.
So you're saying just the sheet with no magnet?
No. I'm saying, say for a 200 by 200. He said the MK3, but basically all you'd have to have is the sheet for the MK3. So what you sent me, what would you charge for what you sent me just for the sheet? And ballpark, because I know it's going to change, but just ballpark.
I'd say less than 30.
Less than $30?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's your answer for an MK3 powder coated spring steel sheet. Okay, he's saying around $30. Around $30. Okay, so for those of you out there with an MK3, you can't buy that from anywhere else for $30. Not with this quality. And we're going to send it to Tom and Filament Frenzy across the pond and let him see what the durability of it is. And then if he doesn't destroy it, then Chris Riley will get a try at it. And then hopefully one day I'll get my spring steel sheet back. All right, so we're at 6:45. Your questions are coming in. That's cool. No, Lightspeed, this is not the guy from Amazon. And Repcord, that's a lot cheaper than I thought he was going to say. I was expecting $40, $45. So, I mean, which would still be a decent price. And, you know, I'm not going to hold him to the $30 because he's not in production yet. That's what he's estimating. So, you know, that's an estimate right now. So if it comes out at $35, don't go, well, you said $30. Don't be yeah. So, anywho. All right, we're at 6:45. So I've been keeping up with questions pretty much. Chris Riley needs a square meter for his hang printer. Oh, well, Chris Self, I mean, we can sit here and talk prices. This is a 210 by 250 sheet. So if you're talking 400 by 400, cut and powder coated with magnets and all, I don't know, $55, $60 probably. You know, right about it for a 400 by 400 system. You're not going to get that from BuildTac at all. I don't know. We're not there yet. We're getting there. He's getting there. Can he get one for the flash forge? He wants to glue it to his glass bed. That kind of kills the need for a spring steel, right? All right. Yeah, Ken. There's some good advice from Alien 3D, who just launched his business, the UFO boxes. If you ever go public as a seller, $30 should be more of a country club price, but production, be sure that everything's accounted for. You know what I mean? And sometimes that business side gets lost in the I can do this crap side, you know?
Right.
All right, Brian Vines, take it easy, buddy.
And this product would be my first Kickstarter. It's actually like, it's kind of like an entrance for me. So if this is successful, then I'll be doing other 3D printing stuff. Right.
Well, I will tell you, some of these guys are really good to reach out to. Repcord runs his own business. Alien 3D is running his own business. Now, some of these others, Glenn has ran his own businesses a lot of times. So if you need advice at all in this community, there are people that will help you tremendously for free, and they will give you advice that will help you out. All right, so now we come to the part that we're going to talk about now. We talked about this before, right? So I'm going to let you tell them what we're going to do. Are you ready?
Giveaway.
Huh? Yeah, that one. Yes.
Yeah, so I have Ender 3 and Mark 3 blank sheet. So I can powder coat that, and whoever has that printer could get one. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to do one, right? Just one. For now, I think. Okay. So they get to pick an Ender 3 or a Mark 3 pre-cut spring steel sheet powder coated on one side, correct? The thing is, with the Ender 3, you would have to get the magnet, which is on McMaster car. Okay. So, all right. So we can go to McMaster car and get a sheet of that sheet. And I'll tell you what, you can give me that information, and I'll get that sheet if they pick the Ender 3. I'll pick that up. Okay. So here we go. Well, Repcord, I think one of the, and that's a good question. Since Bruce has been having such a hard time getting his powder-coated PEI to be reliable over time, what is it that makes you think yours can do better? Yeah, that's that. Yeah, you. I'm asking you. Me. Yes. I don't know if they use the chemical, or they use static electricity.
Okay.
I'm thinking they use the traditional static electricity powder coating.
Mm-hmm.
Is their new one painted still?
Well, and I think that's one of the biggest issues they had, was that they had the paint that they were trying to use was causing adhesion issues when they powder coated. They've since went to I don't think it's actually a paint. I think the actual writing that they have on it now is PEI that's a different color. You see what I'm saying? They use a dark PEI and a light PEI in a pattern. So I think that's what they do. All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to set this giveaway up. Okay. We're going to set this giveaway up. I'm going to give it, what's today? We're going to give it 1 week from today. Okay. 1 week from today. Only those that comment in the comments below this video, once it's done, I will draw from those comments. Okay. 1 comment per person. If I see 2 comments from you, I will delete both comments. 1 comment per person, 1 week. On my next Wednesday interview, we will pick a winner. We will pick a winner. So that's what it is. And you get to choose between the Ender 3 or the Mark 3 spring steel powder coated sheet. If you pick the Ender 3, I will get on McMaster and order the magnetic sheet that he sends me the link to, so that you can have that as well. Now, I will tell you that that's a 220 by 220 bed on the Ender 3, correct? I believe that's what the bed on the Ender 3 is.
I think so.
Okay, so if you have an ANET A8 bed or anything with a 220 by 220 bed, that sheet will fit that machine correctly. So Glenn, you can use multiple counts. As long as I see Glenn and I see Fun King, I won't see Fun King twice or Glenn twice. Now, if there's another guy with Glenn with 2 ends, you're screwed, buddy. No, it doesn't matter what your comment says. Chris Self, there's no put this in the comments. I'm going to say pick from comments. I'm going to use TubeBuddy next week during the interview. I'm going to use TubeBuddy and pull it. So that's exactly what's going to happen. Oh, Mr. Buttram says that it's 235 by 235.
230. Should be 230 by 230.
230 by 230. So you could still use it on a 220 by 220 bed. Just saying. Okay. Just saying.
I just opened up the DXF and I looked.
Yes, Colin, it's in the non-live comments. Once the video is over, or if you can comment now, if it'll let you comment now, get your comment in. I mean, it's that simple. All right. Do we have any more questions for Ken? Say again?
Sorry, it's 235.
That's okay. It'll still fit an ANET 220 by 220. So, woohoo.
I forgot the corners of my sheet are rounded so you don't get cut. So I wasn't measuring the corner radius of that.
That's correct, Repcord. Not in the chat. I'm not doing it on the chat. I'm only doing it on the comments. So that way, anybody that watches this after the fact, because normally I get about 160 views on there, and there's only 30 watching. So about, we'll probably have about 160 people that watch it. Not all of them will get to the end, though. My average view time is like 24 minutes. So if you win, it'll be a mothership giveaway. Well, the 210 by 210 should have enough room around the board for that extra, 15 millimeters on each side, not even 12.5 millimeters on each side, whatever it is. I think you should still be able to do that. Now my Alexa's going to go off.
Incoming call from 866-991-7360.
I don't want to talk to them. But anyway, all right, so that's the giveaway. And this was his idea. I didn't even ask about this one. So you're going to, what's your timeline expectation on getting your Kickstarter live and up and going?
Within the next 2 to 3 weeks, it should be live. That's knock on wood.
Okay. So next week when we give this away, you're going to be closer to being live. I want you to move forward with this. It's like I told Josh from Alien 3D. I've told Chris from Venturi 3D, and I told Slice Engineering. I want you to be successful. And Repcord was supposed to get me some graphics and some taglines, which I haven't received yet. So he didn't get on my banner spinner thing yet. So once you get all that done, we will get you some traffic. Okay. We will definitely get you some momentum, at least a little bit that I'm not an influencer yet, but that I can, tell the people, hey, go check it out. Go check it out. So anyway, there you go. I'm with Never Let the Machine Win. If you win a free flex plate, you should be happy to go buy the printer that it fits. So anyway. All right. So anything else you want them to know about your Kickstarter and what you're going to be coming up with and that type of stuff? Because this is your initial Kickstarter. Now you have other ideas that aren't out there yet that you're going to, this is testing the waters for Kickstarter. Yeah.
So the reason why I got into 3D printing in the first place was for this product I've been developing for the past 5 years. It's a product that everyone can use, but it can actually help disabled people. So that's important. It's important for me to finish that product. And the 3D printing was kind of like a necessary detour to finish that.
Okay.
So the past year, I've kind of had to put the other one on the back burner because when I got into 3D printing, I saw like way too many areas that need improved. Just make stuff cheaper, but not, or maybe I should say less expensive. There's a type of motor that I've been developing that there's only one company that's basically been making these for the past several decades, and their patents have run out long ago. So I really want to make those motors on a mass scale basis. Mm-hmm. And you can apply those motors to 3D printers, lots of applications.
All right, cool. Now, Tyler 3D Prints, dang well we're not giving away an Ender 3 with the powder coated bed. We're just giving away the powder coated bed of an Ender 3 if you win and you choose that bed. Now, Colin Hill asked the question, and I don't know that you have this set yet or not, but what funding goal would you be looking on your Kickstarter?
It's to be decided, but right now I have some mock-up rewards. Actually, it's only one reward right now. And the goal was $30,000.
Okay.
And now, initially, it will be USA only. After the Kickstarter is over, and we have because we want good feedback. We don't just want to put something out there,
right?
And since I'm in the USA, I don't think I'm ready to do the whole international thing yet. So
right.
Once it's successful, then on our website we'll be opening up the doors to other countries.
Okay. So for now, orders on the Kickstarter would be US only.
Unfortunately, yes.
Okay. Well, and I understand. I mean, shipping across the pond is not cheap. I'm pretty sure it's going to be, $20, $25 for me to ship this sheet to Filament Frenzy here shortly. Yeah, Alien 3D said, Ken, international sucks for shipping. That'll be your biggest issue. Really, Lightspeed? Well, type that number back to me in Twitter, and that way I can call them back. Because it's just a computer every time I answer that number. Yeah, steel export's going to get expensive. Somebody's I guess talking about Trump's new tariffs or whatever on steel. Hopefully that won't affect your cost much.
Oh, this isn't steel. This is aluminum. No.
It's aluminum. Spring aluminum. Yeah, Glenn says just roll it up and ship it in a tube. Yeah, no, yeah, and I get that. It was. I spent a lot of money sending something to Scalda a while back. It was a $4 ANET inductive sensor. I sent it to Britain, and it was like $23 to ship it. It was cheaper for me to join Amazon Prime UK and order it next day off Amazon in the UK. So that was just really funny. Oh, Lightspeed said he was joking. Well, it could be the IRS. I do owe him some money.
No, it's not the IRS. It's the OURS. It's theirs.
Oh, I got you. OURS. I got it. Oh, there you go. Glenn says, can we fold it in origami? He's just trying to be funny, man. Come on, relax, smile. Quit acting like we're interrogating you. We're not. All right. So anyway, so that we're coming to the end. You know, nobody's asking any questions. That's what I've been giving you time to do, is ask questions. Ask questions. Yeah, there you go. You don't have to bend it for our. I understand. I like mine. I do, and the thing is, I'm really sucking about shipping it to Filament Frenzy because I'm fixing to upgrade another printer to the Mark 52, and I'll have another place to put spring steel. So that really sucks that I got to ship it now because I opened my mouth and said I would. All right. So if nobody else has any other questions, we're gonna end the interview. And Kenzie, anything last words you want to tell anybody or anything like that before I click on it and take over?
I just appreciate your time and thank you everyone for listening. Hope to do it again soon.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to click over here and tell them bye, and I'll be back with you in just a minute. Okay.
Okay.
All right, buddy. Well, guys, that was Ken Cobb with his powder coated spring steel sheet and the pretty cool friggin' ender upgrades too, by the way. He went from top to bottom. All right. Chris Riley says he needs to make something to get interviewed, so we can do that again. But I want to tell everybody, thank you for being here. Thanks to Ken for being on here. And he's gonna email me any contact information that he wants me to put in the description. He's gonna do that because I'm gonna update the description. Don't forget, if you want a chance to win a spring steel powder coated sheet for an MK3 or an Ender 3, you need to comment in the comments below once the video is posted. So that's what we're going to do. This has been Kuntry Klub Live, and we will see you tomorrow night on the Country Call-In Show. Thank y'all. Y'all have a good night.